finding a pose that is comfortably allowing you to relax, sit, and take that space of the whole galaxy. Just think that you're the center point of the galaxy. And you're breathing from that space, not from breathing from your problem or feeding need and your difficulty. Just a moment that you are that you want to achieve, because there's nothing to achieve through knowledge. It is what there's in you. You're aligning, you're vibrating into that space. So whether it's a breath, whether it's a subtle energy shift, the way you sit, where you hold the spine effortlessly, the effort comes, the force comes from the mind to have a quick fit to it so you can go back to your dreaming. Deep couple of breaths. Now very gently, when you find the rhythm of that breath does not need anything anymore, and you're breathing in from that space of the galaxy and allowing that energy to rise into the consciousness of the highest chakra for a human being is the crown chakra, and very gently bringing that energy, turning into not a caterpillar, into a butterfly, and allowing that space to land in the heart. Very gently, you're taking a moment of the rhythm of this great consciousness of the heart, breathing in through the galaxy, into the crown, and allowing that space to land in your heart in a form of an energy of a butterfly, or openness, or freedom. Now very gently, I will move the camera towards Darren while you're doing that breathing, while you're softening. Now very gently taking that deep breath in, arms very gently raise onto the crown, very gently lift up, arms raised right up onto the crown, palms onto the namaskar position, just bringing this mind vibration from both nadis, Ida and the Pingali nadi, the masculine and feminine energy, back into the center of the heart where the butterfly is. And you're going to approach and create that space of realization for the practice today. Very gently taking the refuge in the space and the harmony of these two energies that has come into this space. Palms on the namaskar position, just taking a silent om or a vibrational om without the logic, without the language, just the breath and the energies coming together. If it had a sound of the universe, what would that sound, what would that message be? Taking a deep breath in. Shoulders relax, soften the throat, soften the gaze, very gently relaxing the arms and twisting the spine to the left side, very gently creating that space of openness. Very gently. A couple of more breaths. You can do that same sphere of breath that if it was piercing into that space of awareness and taking you deep into giving you the strength to be with that shock without the knowledge, without going into the past and into the future, and allow that shaken to be a shock of awareness, but not as a force to react. Now take a deep breath in. Very gently, arms raised onto the crown. Palms onto the pranam position, twisting the spine to the right side. Very gently dropping that armor, releasing that tension of the knowledge. And this practice is nothing other than awakening you into that space of awareness. Take a couple of more breaths, whether it's ujjayi pranayama or whatever the breath that is really coming into a tempo with the message. The life is there, the moment is there, your being, and you awaken into this moment. Now that once that self-awakening, which was totally a future, now it is in that space of in the moment. Because you're releasing everything that you know about this moment. You're not creating any more void to fill up by knowledge. Breathing in, come back into the center. Shoulders relax. Now take a deep breath in, shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back. Massage that back of the skull very gently in that moment between the C1 and C2 spine. Shut the shoulders up with another deep breath in. Open and close the mouth and release the tension of that knowledge want to come back. The talking want to come back. The thoughts want to come back. Just release that tension in space of an opportunity to grow. Breath out, chin to the chest, back of the neck open, very gently going into a seated cat. Very gently, in that same breath out, breath in, very gently breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate energy, gaze onto the third eye, very gently coming into that realization that you are no longer intoxicated through the news, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. You are no longer oblivious of all that you are. It's almost like an alcohol, a sleeping tablet. And most of the crowd is in this space. Breath out. Now very gently creating that bandha, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Very gently coming. Once something was blurred, direction was, perception was not clear. Now it's really, you can see clearly things. But who do you see mostly? You see the mind and the body and the identity very clear of you and what it creates from just by the knowledge or the memory. Breathing in, tongue roll up on the upper palate energy, gaze onto the third eye. Now the space or the growth that is already there does not need anything. There is a perfection itself. Nothing you need to add into it anymore. Not even a yoga class. But remembrance is very important. Neutral spine. Now very gently take a deep breath in. Coming back, elongate the spine. Now very gently soften the cross of the legs. So no cross in the legs, feet and the leg position into the space of an easy pose, Sukhasana. Now you can elevate the buttocks and very gently take a deep breath in and walk those palms into the front and very gently drop the elbows. Very gently with another couple of more breaths. You're just gently dropping yourself a bit more and you're opening up that space of the kidneys, space of the back, And you're very gently withdrawing from all the hindrances that you have created to that unnecessary occupation of the knowledge. I'm not saying knowledge is bad. I'm just saying sometimes too much of anything is toxic. And if this body is totally out of the knowledge, can you see where the societies are going? Can you see where the governments are created? Out of these hindrances, out of these imbalances, out of this comparison. Everybody wants to follow somebody, but not anymore you. Breathing in very gently, palms facing up, shoulders relax, shoulders roll back, open up that space. Now very gently we are coming into the space of the pigeon, left foot into the back. And if you're seated in the front of the mat, it might be easy for you, creating that space. And very gently coming into that space of the moment. It is not about being healthy. It's not about being great. It is not about being flexible. It's not about being into that space of comparison anymore. Because if there is an opposition in the space of your awareness, like the mind, it will create that inferiority and superiority. And these both are sickness in the mind. You know, everything is, everyone is feeding through is a separation. And when that separation happens in your thought, it takes refuge in the body. It takes refuge in everything that you're looking at is separated. You hardly will find the unity of yourself. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, open up the chest. Very gently bring that left hip onto alignment. Now very gently on a deep breath in, elongate the body, elongate anything that is holding into the patterns of separation. Very gently drop in the elbows, walk those palms into the front. Now very gently in this very moment, you're taking the toxins out of the poison of this comparison or separation. Because out of this separation comes the misery. Now, while you're breathing into a space of understanding and unity, you're bringing that energy of healing more and more and more and more. And you will find that who you are really in this space is, there is no comparison. And you're that space of the Christ, you're that space of the Buddha. You're in that space. Because we say Christ and Buddha, because they have united their separation into one. But you don't have to be a Buddha, or it is in the future. It is right now. Take a deep breath in very gently. Walk those palms back into that space of unity. Now there is no desire to defeat anyone or to prove to anyone. Because at the moment, the whole world, communities, everything in that space of struggle, trying to do the same, trying to be on top of that, top of this, and it's quite violent to the space. It is violent to the body, it's violent to the mind. And you have to ask the first question, where do I get separated? What is my trigger point to be separated, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's your neighbor, whether it's your colleague, and use this opportunity to find yourself more rather than pushing them out because they are shocking you, for you to realize something that you're not settled with. Now take a deep breath in very gently. We are coming into a plank. Stronger on the pelvic floor. And if this posture is too much, very gently drop the knees and very gently push the hips into the front and into the back through your deep breathing. Now coming into a neutral space and rotate the hips and open up onto both sides. And very gently releasing that tension of aggression, hate, enmity that even rising in the digestion, so the inflammation is there. Now to the other side and stretch the spine, palms facing up, very gently allowing the buttocks to drop into the heels. Now, if the mind says the winning and being on top of things will bring you that level of consciousness, level of love, level of security, ask yourself, is it? I'm sure one or the other way you have been winning something in your life, relationship, the house, but I am afraid to say that. Does that make you happy still? Or you are the same person with a new agenda now? And you always think that someone else will take your place, someone else will buy that, someone else will have that relationship. And whether you're going to make it or not, ask consciously yourself and give this opportunity. The moment you have a moment, what succeeds in you? Is it your money? Is it your health? Is it the power? And this sends a lot of tremor in the body. It changes the breathing. It changes your connection to your truth. And eventually it makes you miserable and it makes you to fail. The only thing that successfully you have succeeded is misery. Just ask yourself. Palms facing down, very gently crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Breathing in into a gentle up phase. Overlooking onto the left side, open up that body, elongation. Breathing in back to the center, breathe out to the other side. Breathing in back to the center, onto the down face. Bending that knee, very gently warming up into that space. Very gently, dropping the space of comparison from the body, from the breath, from the mind. Dropping these ideas of thoughts, superior and separations of inferior. You're just simply yourself. Now, when you come into that pose of the down face, you exist nothing other than your realization is shown in the space of the posture, and suddenly that you are in that space of home, space of truth, left foot into the front, into the pigeon pose. Shoulders relax, just open. Allow to settle your buttocks, Relax to release your tension. Now, very gently, most of people don't stop in this separation for themselves. They also will share this if they have children or if they have colleagues and brothers, because you want to be right. So you will tell if you have a house, your children to buy that. If you are not having a relationship, you will tell them to have one or this or that. But very gently see whether we are, without our knowing, our toxicity can be pushed into others. So take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back. And very gently come into this foundation of the truth without a separation. And very gently drop the elbows, walk those palms into the front. Now, all that we are doing is, rather than giving you idea of God, idea of spirituality, we are teaching you in this very gentle calm to experience the truth, experience the space of God, experience that space of Buddha, Christ. So don't give anyone handing something as information. Create that space for that person to become that space, releasing that knowledge. A lot of practices doesn't allow people to drop what is not needed. So what happened is, a lot of people are wearing this mask of knowledge, but underneath is totally ignorance, separation, violence, struggle. Now take a deep breath and ask yourself, what are the things you're ready at this very moment to drop and become into that space of the lightness, the childness, the innocence, the vibration, the curiosity, that your whole body, whole cell is now full of life, throbbing, breathing in that space, just for this time. Now allow more of that consciousness to come into that space. Don't stuff it with knowledge again. Allow yourself to float in that space of consciousness. It is not a promised land. It is something that you are now in that space. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders roll back, opening up that chest. Elevate that space of the heart, keeping that vibration, the mystery, the exploration. You're feeling every part of your body, the house, the vibration of life. So most of the time, the ignorance or the knowledge is something that like a cloud, and it doesn't allow you to open to that space of the vastness. Now very gently coming into plank. Strong on the pelvic floor. Engage in that pelvic floor, still keep that state of being, state of breathing, state of opening. Just now, very moment, just observe the mind that it want to grab onto a thought. Be aware of it. It want to grab onto a posture, a scripture, a doctrine. Let them all float. Let them all disappear. Let them all appear, but you are none of it. Because you are that space of the vastness. Not even a material form, but beyond that. Now very gently drop the knees. Push the hips into the back on the out breath. In breath, push the hips into the front. Breath out, push the hips into the back. Now coming into a neutral space of a cat, take a deep breath in. Align your body. There is a grip, but you have to loosen that grip. There is a force, but you have to loosen that force. Take a deep breath in, drop the belly into that space of the tongue roll up into the pristine clarity of the third eye, allowing that pituitary and the pineal energy to be absolutely into the space of infinity, into the space of freedom, into the space of consciousness, into the space of what you're exploring as the truth, as you're knowing. Breathe out, bound flat, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Breathing in, drop the belly. Open the throat, breath out, anus lock, navel lock. Now you're just witnessing, and it is not a force. It is not a doing. It is not an imagination. It is not a knowledge. All passing in front of your mind. You're not looking at a witness as an object. To witness, you have to drop all the content, all the knowledge. Utterly be space of emptiness, but emptiness not having things, but emptiness you're not engaging with things. Now breathing in, drop the belly, opening up, tongue roll up onto the third. Now you can really see when you drop everything, nothing to see. Your capacity to see is turning into you. So in the Christ consciousness, Jesus calls this conversions. When there is nothing else to see, the one starts seeing oneself. When there's nothing to hinder, the consciousness is pure. And that purity becomes of consciousness. Now take a deep breath in, come into a neutral spine. Neutral spine. See whether you need any alignment on the wrist. Even take a deep breath in and bring the wrist down and fingers pointing into the back. And one at a time, just to see like that. Take a deep breath in and push the bum into the back. In that space, take a deep breath in, elbows stretch, and going into a child pose from there. The child pose should represent of the innocence of the child before the knowledge and condition given from your parents and other things. So this is not the consciousness that people are talking about, you yourself, self. This is not performing from the ego. What we are experiencing is when all has disappeared, there is no other content left. The mirror, the lake, whatever you want to call, reflects yourself. So suddenly it's like a little light in the middle of the room. First is the reflection of the walls, the things in the room. But if you let go of all that, you will see the self of luminousness. Because there's a drop of knowledge, drop comparison, you're dropping the false identity, the whole process. And there's nothing. And your pure consciousness there. Now take a deep breath in, very gently waking up the spine one vertebra at a time. Shoulders relax and your chest is open. Now very gently take a deep breath in and lifting up onto the knees. Shoulders relax and very gently allowing that chest to be open. Now take a deep breath in and right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Right arm reaching into the back. Take a deep breath in, left arm reaching up. Allow this opportunity. Allow this opportunity to drop and drop and drop. Now support the back. If this is a space where you stay there. Otherwise, take a deep breath in, push the hips forward. And right arm reaching up and reaching into the heel. If the heel is too far, then put the toe down and lift up the heel. Left arm reaching up into the heel. Now, if you can just push the hips into the front, if it is too hard, keep a bolster and support yourself. And take a deep breath in, support the back when you have feel that energy. Very gently breathe out to the child pose. Palm stretch facing up. And very gently you can see your approach, the moment approaching you. The positivity is approaching you. The affirmative is approaching you. There is a change in that space. Nothing to do with a posture, nothing to do with a breath, but of course your breathing is different. When you have come without that comparison, into the space of compassion. Compassion even for your comparison within yourself. Now this creates a different understanding. Because this is come from the same space of that humbleness, truthfulness, sincerity, authenticity. And you're creating this magnified energy and you're sitting in that space and everything is blossoming at that space. Now very gently wake up that space, the spine, one vertebra at a time. Very gently unlocking the spine, unlocking the energy that has separated by something and bringing this unity of awareness, what Jesus said, what Krishna said, what Muhammad said, who were all before us, these great leaders or awakening people are saying. Now take a deep breath in, very gently stretch the legs into the front. Shake the legs very gently. Take a deep breath in. Very gently, palms walk into the back a little bit. And take a deep breath in and lift up the pelvis. Pushing the toes onto the mat, stronger on the pelvic floor. If this is hard, you can bend the knees and lift up onto tabletop. Take a deep breath in and coming back. Knees to the chest to complete. Breathe out. Be aware, be aware, be aware. Moment to moment, hour to hour, day to day, be aware, be aware, be aware. Right mindfulness. Or self-remembering. You are centered. Now take a deep breath in, very gently lock into the toes. Take a deep breath, shoulders relax, don't force anything. Gently with a breath, very gently opening up the feet wide apart, but be aware of the space. Be aware of whether the competitiveness comes. Be aware of the comparison comes. Be aware of the right and wrong posture comes. Be aware of everything. And I just want to simply allow you to enjoy a pose without force. It's not so much of your eyes are focused onto the outside, but more within how you feel. Shoulders relax. Now very gently, feet together, knees to the chest, breathe out. Sole of the feet are touching each other under the ankles, locking onto the toes. Keep up still, shoulders roll back. Take that deep breath and finding a space and keep that aliveness. Just the moment that aliveness is there, just see that your mind want to replace with a mechanical efficiency, mechanical idea of the pose. It might be the whole interest comes from protection to your body. But what is taking is that life out of you and making you more sleep. Now take a deep breath in, knees to the chest, release. When you bring the knees to the chest, shoulders roll back. chin up slightly, and then very gently letting go of the legs. Shake the legs if there was anything was coming up for you, not out of full. Paying such attention not to the knowledge of the piece, but the aliveness of the piece. Not to the knowledge of God, but the aliveness of that. Not anything in knowledge is dead. Anything in knowledge is robbing you from life. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders relax and chest open. Now very gently bring in the left knee onto the chest. Now left foot onto the right side. Take a deep breath in, right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Now your right elbow comes and land on the side of the left knee. Now take a deep breath in and create the space on both shoulders. Left shoulder roll back onto the left side. Right foot very gently flexing and create this energy very gently to create that energy on the spleen, pancreas, kidneys, and keep that function areas open and breathing into those spaces, whether they have rebelled against life and has caused any ill health. Bringing that breath and life and joy into that space. Overlooking into the left side on an elongated. Take a deep breath in, very gently coming back. Now hold on to the knee and allow that space to open up the chest. Shoulders roll back. And very gently let go. Now take a deep breath in. When you're ready, we are bringing the other knee, which is the right knee, onto the chest. Right foot onto the left. Take a deep breath in. Left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Left elbow landing next to the right knee. Right shoulder roll back and opening up even a bit more. Left foot is flexing, opening up, creating space for that openness. And very gently finding in this pose being whole. Breathing into, you are rooted into the wholeness. Now you know the existence of the galaxy, not by knowledge, but by being. Now in that very moment, you will find how precious your being. Now in this very moment, you understand the wealth and the abundance and the God, the Buddha, the Christ within. The more you acquire knowledge, no more you are not aware of it. And more you have a wealth of this, you go on desiring small things, quarreling, fighting with small things, mundane things, fighting for competition for something, siblings, children, parents, relationships, systems. Now in this very moment, you could see in you have this wealth, you're connected into this, your struggle with the outside has disappeared, and why can't you keep this 1 hour for the rest of the day? At this very moment, you could see the life has become gentler, calmer, more grace. You are interested. You're very inquisitive. In what? In the non-essential. Breathing in very gently, coming back. Shoulders relaxed. And chest open. This is a very good moment for you to open up. Now I want you to sit down into a space of comfort. Shoulders relaxed and chest open. Take that deep breath that you started the class through the space of the galaxy and allowing you to sit into the space of the center, reaching up into the God consciousness, landing into the space of the heart as a butterfly. Just as you're breathing, I want that the manifestation of you that you thought the center to dissolve into the rest of the galaxy, rest of the God. Breathing in, breathe out, dissolve into that space of the heart that I call now is the divine. Don't think yourself as you separate from the existence. We just merge more and more into the truth. You could see the breath is not forced. Now you could see when you are in the manifestation, you may be going on to separate things. But in this space, the emphasis is on today is without the separation. The unity of the yoga. Now, whatever you're going to do after this class, you're going to dissolve into it. You're going to remain as observer. Slowly, slowly, you learn the way of sitting, way of being, deep feeling of the moment. Just feeling the oneness with the whole. You may feel sometimes you don't need to breathe even. You may have a sensation of a spark or a tingle. Let the practice be the reminder. Now very gently taking a deep breath in, arms raised very gently onto the ground, cleansing the space of your home, loved ones, without the separation, even the one with the difficulty. Palms onto the namaskar position of the unity, of the truth, uniting of that awareness Twisting the spine to the left. Breathe out. Breathing in, arms raised back to the crown. Breathe out, twisting the spine to the right. Stomach very gently pulling. Breathing in back to the center. Arms raised onto the ground. Palms onto the namaskar. Take a deep breath in and bowing down to the space within and the space within everyone that has been separated. Namaste.